I want you to join me at Creating Love and Money. That's the name of my 2-day intensive training happening in London at the end of June this year, 2023. And here's why. Throughout my life, I'm 44 now, I have been fascinated with cultivating and creating for myself freedom, love, and power. And by power, I mean the ability to make a difference in the world in smaller and smaller amounts of time. And I've come a certain distance in the development of my capacity to be free, to be filled with love, to express love, to be guided by love, and to make a big difference in a small amount of time. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful for what that has given me. I'm going to talk about that in more detail in a second. But part of that gratitude, what happens for me as I've developed that capacity, is I want to share it. I want to share it. It's very fulfilling for me to create freedom, love, and power for myself. It's even more fulfilling to help others to cultivate that and create that for themselves. So I want to give you the freedom, love, and power that I have created for myself so that you too are able to utilize freedom, love, and power. And there's two reasons why I want you to be able to utilize a high degree of freedom, personal freedom, love as a guiding force, as a radiating presence, as a fulfillment, and power, the capacity to move the world in smaller and smaller amounts of time. There's two reasons why I want you to have that as well. The first is the kind of obvious one. It's very fulfilling. If you value freedom, it's fulfilling to be free, to be completely and entirely free. It's very fulfilling to live a life that's filled with love, where you experience loving relationships. You experience love towards yourself. You love everything that's happening. Love is a great way to be. Of course, to have power means you get to make the world the way you want it to be, to move the world in the direction of your values and where you see beauty or whatever it is that you desire, to get what you want, right? That's what power does in the material, relational world. So yes, I want you to have that too, because that's fulfilling. You're winning at life in that sense. But there's another reason, and actually this one's a little bit more important even for me. When I reflect on our current life right now, my wife and I, we've only been here 2 years in Hawaii. We live in Maui. We've come a long way since we first met, and barely able to afford rent at that time. Actually couldn't afford rent. We were house sitting, living with her parents. This was in my early 30s. And we've come a long way. We've created dreams in our mind and manifested and created those in our actual life multiple times. Our most recent dream was the dream to own a farm in Maui, and now here we are. We have a couple of acres. We've got a pool. We've got an indoor gym. We've got a guest house, a rental house. We grow our own food. We've got chickens with eggs. It's like we're pinching ourselves that this is our life. It's literally, we dreamed and now it's our life. And we've done that a series of times, but we're fresh in it right now. And sure, that's like what I was saying before. You have the freedom, the love, and the power to create what you want in the world, all right, as a way of being, like what we've created in our relationship and how we relate to each other, all great stuff. And when I reflect on this creation, our most recent dream, what I'm most proud of isn't even that we've created this. It's what I call the trail of good that I left behind me on the way. And what I mean by that is when I think about all the people who were involved in bringing this into existence, the real estate agent, the former owner of the house that we bought, the mortgage broker, or going back to my clients that invested and worked with me, whose money I took and received and then used to buy the house. All of those people, their experience of me and of the work was one of freedom, love, and power that had a significant impact on them. And in the same way, when I hire my own coaches and mentors, my commitment to those coaches and mentors is me being your client will change your life. It will have an impact on you. And that's not some ego trip. That's a commitment of myself being free, loving, and powerful, even in a context where I'm supposedly the one being served. If I'm at a restaurant, the waiter will be served by me and who I be with them, the way that I love, the difference that I make. And every moment is a fulfillment in that too. And what happens when you do that is you get what you want, because love creates. And more importantly, for me, and I think you'll find this too, you leave a trail of good in the world. there's a wake of positivity and optimism and greater possibility and love that's left behind you. And so when I think about all that I've created, I feel even more inspired and empowered by, and proud, I guess we could say, by that trail of good. And so as much as I want to help you, and I do want to help you to be free, to be loving, to be powerful, I also want you to get what you want in such a way that it creates a more beautiful world. And when you're out there creating in the way that we teach you, and we'll be training at this 2 days in London to create in that way, you'll be doing so as well. And with the world the way that it is right now, people being more polarized, the amount of uncertainty there is, to me, this is a massive contribution to the world. Like, if you're going to go and get what you want right now and play a zero-sum game, then you're actually contributing to the fractioning of the world, the polarization. And the zero-sum game is an idea, right? You can live in a world phenomenologically that is positive sum, a positive sum universe. And when you see the world that way and you show up that way, that's what you get, and that's what you create, and that's the trail of good you leave behind you. So I'm very passionate about both of these things. And those are the two reasons why I want to give you the freedom, love, and power I have to create what I want, so that you can create what you want, and you can do so in such a way that you create a more beautiful world in the process. Your winning can be a contribution. It doesn't have to be at the cost of others' loss. Now, let me get into the details, the three main things that I want to teach you and that I will teach you and train you with our team, Darren and Lindsay, and the entire creating team in London, and a special guest. I'll mention him in a second. The first thing that I want to train you and teach you in is how to dream again. And that might sound like, I don't know, flippant or not such a big deal or not significant or kind of simple, but people underestimate how unwilling they have become to dream. They've been dehabituated, is that a word? Unhabituated from it through, because we naturally dream. I have two little boys. The imagination and dreaming is most of what they do. We learn to stop daydreaming. You learn in school, be realistic. And what happens is our capacity to imagine a world into existence atrophies. And so I want to reignite that capacity in you. I want to challenge you to discover the fears that are stopping you from being even willing to dream in the first place, and have you feel what it's like to get in touch with your imagination from a sense of your childlike wonder and grandiosity. For a couple of reasons. Number one, using imagination as a creative functioning tool is very important. If you're going to create effectively in the world, you want to use intuition and imagination. That's going to be your highest efficacy as an approach. But number two, and kind of more importantly for the 2 days we have together, is I want to instigate and trigger and exfoliate the psychological limitations that you have that would block you from realizing those dreams that you're dreaming of. So as soon as you start to dream big, you're going to, oops, sorry, there's a bug. You're going to start to, wow, there's so many mosquitoes right now. You probably can't see them. You're like, what's he doing? As soon as you start dreaming, you're going to start having ideas about yourself, about the world, that stop you from dreaming. And if they don't stop you from dreaming, they'll at least stop you from action. And if you're one of the rare people who are willing to get into action, to force yourself, no, I got to do my dreams and take action, they will probably stop you from being in flow and having the degree of efficacy that you could, because of these limiting, holding patterns of thought that you have in your mind about who you are, about what's possible for you in your life. And so I want to bring that stuff to the surface, which we're going to do through the dreaming. And then, this is the other big thing I want to do, is I want to teach you an alchemical process. Alchemy is a metaphor. The idea of turning lead into gold is a metaphor for psychological transformation. And it starts with identifying the shadow, identifying the aspects of yourself that you believe about yourself and the world that limit you and stop you from expressing yourself. I'm going to train you and teach you, with Darren and Lindsay's help, in a very deep process of embodied release, so that you actually feel free of that idea, not just some intellectual conversation, but an embodied release, so you actually don't feel that limiting thing that you thought before is even true anymore. You see the light. There's a purification that occurs. And then through that, I'm going to teach you how to get in touch with the truth, the essence that was beneath that fear that even made it relevant in the first place. How to capture that in language and turn that into a declaration of who you are or what the world is. And that definition, that declaration will become a mantra for you. All right, so that's the process of alchemy. I want to take you from being limited all the way to being released, liberated, clear on who you actually are, the authentic expression, the meaning, the story, the true identity, the true way of seeing the world that is within you right now, but it's clouded by fear, worry, judgment. And then the third and most important thing that I want to train you in as well is how to take these ideas of who you are that you've excavated through your fear and you found to be absolutely true, and how to be with that on a regular basis. In the same way that a person might hit the gym, that you train your mind and you talk to anybody who's super successful, right, in creating in the world, and they've all got some way of training their mind, their way of thinking, such that there's a coherence around the possibility of that which they want to create that vibrates in them. They live as if it's true, right? And it's actually active and alive in their way of being. They see the world through those ideas. So I want to teach you how, on a regular basis, to keep these ideas active and present in your being, such that it becomes your automatic, inculcated identity and worldview. And you're not trying to make yourself do that, but you are being that which deep down you are. I'll teach you how to do it with your mind, in inner dialogue, in a journal. I'll teach you how to do it with your actual speaking, your voice. And on that note, we are going to have a special guest named Stuart Pearce. I've got another video coming out where him and I do a kind of 20-minute conversation so you get to know him a bit more. But he's literally the most sought after master of voice on the planet. The top leaders in the world, royalty, the top actors on the planet, all the A-list actors go to Stuart to learn how to use their voice to create the magnetism that rises from the authenticity and impacts the world. So he'll tell you some incredible stories of what he's done with the types of tools that he'll be teaching you at our event as well, so that you can take these ideas of who you are and you can breathe life into them in such a way where they don't just move you, but they move the world. It will generate a natural magnetism, and it will not only have you feel empowered, but it will create opportunities for you in the world. People will move towards you, opportunities will move towards you, and that will give you way more power. And again, it's born from love and freedom. So those are the three main things we're going to train you in at the 2 days together. You understand the reasons why. I want you to be able to get everything that you want in this life, and I want you to do so while it's leaving a trail of good in the world so that you can create a more beautiful world. And here's my commitment. I'm looking you right in the eyes right now. I'm imagining your eyes, and I'm telling you this. If you invest the price of this ticket to reserve a seat to be with us at Creating Love and Money in London, and you spend those 2 days with us, and you play all out, you go all in, you bring your presence, you bring your commitment to do all the work and all the exercises with complete vulnerability and courage, my promise to you is that it will be the best money you have ever spent on your personal development, and that for the rest of your life you will look back on those 2 days as an inflection point in your capacity to be free, to be loving, and to have the power to create everything you want. I give you my word. I love you. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to being with you in London. Bye for now.